ask beginners question, when is the best time to repot deciduous bonsai trees?
If we have a look at this deciduous larch that we've got here, you can see the buds on the branches here. You can see one there, another one there, another one there.
Now over the course of the next probably month, those little buds, they're going to start swelling, they're going to start fattening up, and eventually you're going to see a little bit of green colour just as the bud is about to break, you know, and the leaves to come out. What's happening there is the sugars that the tree has been storing in the roots, they're starting to move up the tree through the trunk into the branches and starting to pump essentially energy into those individual buds. And at that point, the roots are going to need to increase the volume of water that's going to sustain that foliage over the growing season.
So essentially what we're trying to do, I suppose, is strike a balance between allowing the sugars to move up from the roots into the foliage, but also doing our root pruning at a time where we're not sort of damaging or overly removing an amount of root which is going to be required to keep liquid supplied to the leaves of the tree.
And if it was just that simple, then things would be straightforward. The added complexity that we've got, though, is that we don't necessarily want to do the repot and do the root pruning and then expose the tree to incredibly cold temperatures. And of course the thing about that is that spring is quite variable, isn't it? You know, same as any of the seasons are. So one week it can be really quite warm and really quite sunny, you know, blue skies. It's not a bad day today, to be fair, but in a week's time or in 2 weeks' time, you know, the temperatures could drop back down again. We could have -5, we could have -7. We really don't know because of the variability in the weather.
Thing is, if I look at this little hornbeam now, I can see buds starting to fatten up, certainly. I mean, look at that one there. That's going to be open pretty soon, I would say. The problem is it's early February, so it's very much still winter and the weather could be awful in a couple of weeks.
So, you know, to some extent I'm forced to repot that now. Better not to leave it too long if I can avoid it.
Now the solution, of course, is to have somewhere where you can protect the tree, so a greenhouse is ideal.
And that's why in previous videos I've mentioned that the two major factors in success with bonsai are location and watering. You know, providing that kind of winter protection just means that the tree will have a better spring, a better start, and hopefully you'll have happier bonsais, you know.
Now it does beg the question, well, why don't you just leave it for another couple of weeks until the tree has started leafing up?
Now an example that I like to use is imagine the sails on a ship, right? And imagine the sails opening. Well, essentially that's what the buds are doing when they break. It's like the sails of a ship where the sails are just opening up, right? So the problem you've got is that if you disrupt the flow of water into those tiny little leaves, it can, and I've seen this a few times, it can cause the leaves not to form properly, because I think it's due to the lack of liquid actually flowing up the tree and the disruption to the sap. Do you see what I mean? So what can happen there then is you get misshapen leaves, you get badly formed leaves, almost where they kind of curl or don't fully open up. You know, can't be good for the tree, I don't think. Can't be good. And therefore, as bonsai growers, we're forced to work with the conditions and the weather that we have at the time, and work with the trees at their various stages in development, and just keep an eye on things, see when things are starting to leaf up, try and repot at that time, and see how you get on from there.